Hey, welcome into the Fox Sports Super Bowl watch party. We're going to be watching the Super Bowl with some of the legends of the game this evening. Let's introduce them to you. First up, Super Bowl 44 champ and MVP, the NFL's all-time leading completion percentage man, passing yards man, passing touchdowns, New Orleans Saints quarterback, Mr. Drew Brees is in the house. Drew Brees, everybody. Yes! It's the quick signature in there. Drew Brees here where he won a Super Bowl against the Indianapolis Colts earlier in his career. Drew, we appreciate you joining us, my man. How you doing?
Very good.
There we go. Get you all mic'd up here. All right, next up, we have got Super Bowl 31 champ, three-time NFL MVP, the Hall of Famer, a member of the NFL's 100, Brett Favre is in the house, everybody. Brett Favre. How about that? You know it. Brett Favre, Super Bowl 31 champ. Signing the poster as he heads in. That's all right. We want the best picture we could possibly get. Brett Favre joins us this evening for the Super Bowl watch party.
There's a Super Bowl?
That's right. That's right. Good to see you, my man. And last but not least, we have got four-time Super Bowl champ, three-time Super Bowl MVP, NFL 100 member, and he won the first Super Bowl ever played in this building that we're in right here. Joe Montana is in the house, everybody. Joe Montana.
He's never made a bad play.
I don't think he ever made a bad
I've
throw.
never seen a bad pass.
Certainly not in the Super Bowl,
Never
right?
out of whack. Yeah.
The smooth feet of Joe Montana as he makes his way in. Joe Montana, everybody. See you guys.
You too.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you joining us. All right, here we go. We're going to get all set. Not every day that you get to sit down and watch the Super Bowl with three of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. That's my privilege tonight. I'm Joel Klatt from Fox Sports, college football analyst, NFL draft, a lot of different things. But tonight, I'm just a fan like you, watching at home, watching the Super Bowl with three of the best to ever do it. And guys, you guys have a unique perspective. Let's get right into it.
You didn't hear what Joe asked.
No, I didn't. What did he say?
Did his team win the toss?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. His team's going to win everything going on tonight. The former Chief, the former 49er, of course. He won those 4 Super Bowls with the 49ers. Guys, what does it feel like after the toss when it's finally time for football in this game? Because all the buildup, and then here we go. We're about to kick it off. What does it feel like for those guys on the field?
Thank goodness. It's about time.
Yeah.
The longest 2 weeks in the world.
It is. Long 2 weeks and longest pregame you can
Absolutely.
imagine. You come out of the tunnel and typically you're used to coin toss, here we go. But all the pageantry and festivities that take place, you gotta almost keep yourself calm through that 30 minutes before the ball actually gets kicked off.
Everyone talks about managing your energy level through that time, not expending too much energy in the pregame. Did you guys find that hard to do during the course of the whole hour and a half beforehand?
Have you seen this?
We're watching.
I know you
I
guys.
see Drew on the commercial.
Wait, have you seen this yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
I haven't.
No.
You gotta watch a second.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
This is another one of the NFL 100, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you got to check out coming up here in a minute. I think
They started with you and Steve.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, you missed it then.
Can we back that up?
Oh,
Right.
it's funny because you know the tagline in there is "Take it to the house, kid."
Yeah.
So Steve and I are coming out of the hotel, and the kid runs by, and we both watch him. And Steve says, "Take it to the house, kid." And then a separate shot, you see Garoppolo coming out of the hotel with a bunch of bags, and he says, "Take it to the house, kid." And I say, "Take those to the car." That's pretty funny.
I love it.
That was pretty
I love
funny.
it.
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now he's here taking
Oh,
it to
look
the
at
house.
that. Look at that.
Oh, his kid's fun too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that personality. We'll see
Now,
this.
is that
Yeah,
the
it's
great
pretty
thrill of that kid's life? Are you
fun.
kidding
Oh
me?
yeah.
Right?
That's unbelievable.
Bringing the game ball in.
Look at all of them.
Oh man.
Look at this.
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
Here's
I like that. We got to make sure they better show it again.
I don't know if they'll show it again. I know it was set because it was to set up the whole process coming through, and then all of a sudden he runs into the stadium. So I don't know if they'll show.
So that's literally the kickoff of the commercial.
The commercial.
Yeah, it was.
You guys walking out of the hotel.
Well,
and
there was more before it, actually. I think, and then they turned it on and got to it, and then because there was a couple guys before us. It started off with actually Jim Brown, and running by Jim Brown, and then there were a couple other guys sitting there, pretend like they were construction workers, and they run by them and go, let the kid have his shine. They're going to go and take it to the house, kid. That was fun. It was a fun thing to do.
What were you asking, Joel?
I was just going to.
Oh, sorry about that.
Before you
What does
rudely
this
interrupted.
moment remind you of? You know, like, does it take you back to those times in the Super Bowls that you guys played in that you're about to kick off? What's going through your veins right now on the field?
Well, Joe's been out a little bit longer than I.
Right now, if you're playing, or right now when we were down there?
When you were down there.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I was just telling Roger down there, we're down there, I really don't like being on the field unless I'm playing. He
It was
goes,
cool
"No."
to be with the
Yeah, it's cool.
guys.
Yeah.
But it's kind of awkward. You you're better off up in a box.
well, you start getting antsy, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, it's like, it doesn't feel right that while you're there, because you know that you should be doing something else. You'd rather be down there. So, who won the toss?
San Francisco won. They deferred.
Okay, so just one.
Kansas City gets the ball now. Patrick Mahomes coming out, guys. Here's one of the most talented guys we got in the league now.
Isn't there some crazy number like 80 plus or 90% of the team that scores first in the Super Bowl wins?
Really?
I think it's 6 of the last 7, if I'm not mistaken, that have scored first wins the game.
Yeah.
I know we
Now-
scored first against Denver and we lost.
That didn't work
That
out.
may be that.
Well, that's an
That
anomaly.
Maybe the one.
That one
That
little.
might be the one. The 6 of the 7. Is that you?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, sweet.
That's a good play design there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How important do you think a fast start is for these young quarterbacks, guys?
I think it's
I think it's important.
I think the rhythm is
Yeah.
important, right?
Yeah.
You know, like when we played, I don't know about you guys, but Bill would like to get you in the rhythm. And I don't know, y'all don't get hit as much anymore.
listen, you're right.
But the thing is like I used to, I go, please just give me a pass where I got to hold it, throw it, know I'm going to get hit. Get that over with and kind of wake you up, get you kind
I
of
think
blood
times
going.
have changed a little bit, Joe. but yeah, get completions and get rid of, really get the circus part of it behind you, and just get back to playing football. And
Yeah.
the Super Bowl each year it's a bigger and bigger circus. But the bottom line is it's still a game.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys, how do you play Mahomes? Do you rush him, keep him in the pocket? Do you rush him in the middle, force him away? What do you do? What's the best plan if you were playing? Because I can't figure it out.
I'm gonna let Drew answer that.
It's
one
crazy.
first.
I mean, with any guy that can create and improvise so well outside of the pocket, you really want to try to keep him in the pocket as much as possible,
Yeah.
right? Now, these guys have great edge rushers. They've got great interior rushers too. So just the awareness to keep them inside the pocket.
Yeah.
Potentially you have a spy on them in some situations,
Yeah.
which Spagnuolo can be pretty multiple in. On the other side, they've got athletic linebackers that can
Stay with
keep
him.
an eye on him
Yeah.
and make sure that he's not beating you outside the pocket.
So San Francisco forces a 3 and out here right out of the gate. Got to feel good for them defensively.
It looks like they were bumping around the whole time on the outside, both times, weren't they?
Yeah, you know they play.
They play that. It looks like man, but it's
Yeah,
three.
Uh-oh.
they don't play a ton of man coverage until they get to third
That's
down.
old Seattle defense.
Yeah, but they'll play what we call a lot of match coverage, where depending on who comes to you, you end up running with him.
Right.
You almost match him, but it's really a zone.
San
call.
Francisco dodged a huge bullet there.
Huge.
That punt was dropped. James then bounces right back to him. Geez, that could have been catastrophic.
Yeah, that goes back to what you talk about. Just kind of, I'm not saying he dropped that because it's a Super Bowl, but
Just
there's
try
a
to
lot of
settle
stuff
in.
going on.
Yeah.
And you get. Like Joe makes a good point. You get hit hard, you kind of forget about all the light bulbs flashing and all that stuff. You kind of get back to reality.
Well, here comes this run game. You know they're going to try to establish this.
Yeah.
The Chiefs did a great job last week against Derrick Henry.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so this is, everybody's talking about the other matchup, Chiefs offense and 49er defense. I think a lot of the decision comes from the Chiefs defense and the 49er offense. Can the Chiefs slow down that run game and make them punt and get more opportunities for Mahomes? Because, you know, everybody questions him, Garoppolo. I don't have a question about him.
He hasn't had. He's done what they've asked him to do.
Yeah.
There we go.
I love this guy.
Yeah, he's insane.
He's a stud.
Have you met him?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a kid.
He loves football. I think he loves everything.
Loves life.
Oh yeah, listen.
That's the play he made against you guys.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Listen, he's a game changer. He's as good a run blocker as he is a pass catcher, which is rare.
Yeah.
But then his ability just to do stuff like this, where he's going to catch a 2-yard completion and turn it into 12, 14,
and then
potentially more.
But then it goes back to that thing, making Garoppolo comfortable.
Yeah,
right?
get him completions right. Get him in rhythm.
Yeah.
Just like you said.
Yeah.
And that, you know, he's not going to lose yards. This guy. Uh-oh.
I tell you, some of the stuff Shanahan comes up with.
This guy's exciting now. This guy's an exciting football player.
There's Deebo Samuel. There's a little
he's
flip
a good
reverse.
Yeah.
And that's that creativity you were talking about with Kyle in that run game. He can kind of attack you from multiple different angles, can he?
You think you've seen it all. You've been around a lot, but and for a coach to come up with something new. Sometimes it's not something new, but it may just be a formation change, just a little subtle. And I tell you, you and your coach are the best at it. How many times you run deep over and complete it? And I'm like, are you kidding me? But they'll just one little motion, a little formation change, a play action.
Well, you can see watch, and the Niners shift and move more than any offense out there. But watch what the defense does every time they shift and move. Hey, they got to kick the front. All of a sudden, the safeties, you know, if one safety's down, all of a sudden he kicks back in the middle of the field. Maybe the other one goes. Maybe the linebackers flip. So there's all these moving parts, and then communication that has to go along with it. And if you're out of position, then that's where you can exploit it.
How big of a deal is it they can do all that movement and shifting and motion in particular with great tight ends, and then Juszczyk as well, a fullback? He can kind of totally change the strength of that set.
What did you say, fullback?
That's right. That's right.
They still have those?
They still have those in the game?
Right. But you're right. Juszczyk and Kittle are two of the biggest weapons on that offense because they're as good in the run game as they are on the pass game.
What's impressive to me when they do all that stuff is they don't screw themselves up, and that happens. You know, it's good as long as you don't screw yourself up.
Follow it right.
That you can only imagine the length of the play call. They run that West Coast system. Obviously, Kyle, his dad, Mike, so they can get into a lot of different things.
Brown left tight close.
Yeah, exactly.
A
like
right.
A lot of times
sprint right solid, Z quick drag.
Say, you know how long that took? Like you call a run, high power ride or something.
Yeah.
So how long sometimes they stay in the huddle?
Pass.
To the quarterback.
Smart.
Yeah, that was 3rd and 2.
Yeah. Sometimes you can tell by how long they stay in there.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a pass or a run.
Absolutely.
Because the pass plays are typically a lot longer than a run call.
Solo right 64.
Exactly.
I'm just wondering if we're going to see a 58 razor in this game.
Oh yeah,
Is that what it is?
I don't know if there's.
Well, yes, was.
Well, I heard your story. I heard your story about watching the Super Bowl.
It's the greatest.
Huh?
I think it's the greatest story ever. I heard 58 razor, 58. I'm sitting in a hotel room. I'm like, that would be so awesome. We're playing in New Orleans. This is where he did it. Run the same offense. The only thing we did different, we changed it to 28 and 29.
Yeah.
And it was all protection.
Yeah.
Like ours was like 58 was like full protection.
Right.
And both backs in, tight end.
Yeah.
Well, we soon got to where Bill started making all that, even if it was that kind of protection. If it's not a blitz, check and run, go. Check on the go and get out of there. He wanted people out and around. unless you need to stay in to help somebody. Otherwise, get out of there.
So you'd have 3 check releases
all the time.
Wow.
And we got to a point where we started, like when you talk about you can't believe what happens, like you can't believe how many times Jerry, like if I was playing when Jerry, I'd tell my safety, how many times you see Jerry catch a post? I go, okay, you're now my safety. If you get beat to the post, just keep on running. Just go right into the tunnel and go home. Because, I mean, that was the biggest thing. As soon as we used to block, anytime the safety left the middle, Jerry, if he was on the backside of a round, they gave him a post hook read. Safety in the middle, post hook, safety out, man, go. Didn't matter.
How good was he? Was he the best receiver of all time?
You know, he had a great ability to get behind you. Like, he's not the fastest guy.
Right.
But his on-field speed, which we talked about this a little bit earlier, and was amazing. But his ability to get you in the position where he wanted you to get into that seam, and then to start getting to the point where they didn't care if the safety was there. If he cheated to anywhere, didn't get to the middle, just keep him there and just let him go to the post.
Yeah, over and over again.
Yep.
It wasn't.
Yeah, he was fun. The other guy on the other side, John Taylor, was pretty dang good. And the worst part was he didn't get his due because of Jerry on the other side.
Who are the best guys you played with, Brett, on the outside?
Well, Sterling, unfortunately, this was his career was short because of injury, but that guy was a tremendous player.
Yeah.
Had he stayed healthy.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't a fast guy, but he was uncoverable. He never had that much separation, but he never made you wrong. And then guys like I had different guys. I never really had a guy for a long period of time. Had Antonio for a while. 5th round guy, was a punt returner. Caught the ball with his body, never used his hands, but he just made plays. Driver was a track guy out of Alcorn. Had a wonderful career, and it got better each and every year. And then I had a guy, Sidney Rice, one of the best 1 year statistical seasons that he had 15 touchdowns, and everyone knew he was going to get it.
Yeah.
I've been lucky to play with a lot of different style guys. But we had a lot of fun.
San Francisco on the board first, drive it down, get the field goal. Drew, you got a guy light up the statistical sheet this year. I mean, Michael Thomas was unbelievable this year.
He pretty unbelievable when you think about it. 149 catches. That's
crazy.
Nine plus a game.
It is.
Especially with same deal where you go into games and it's like, all right, what's the Michael Thomas plan? It's kind of the first thing you think about, right? As you're going up against the defense, is what are they going to do to Mike? 1st and 2nd down, 3rd down, when he's at X in the short. I think the good thing about what we can do, and obviously a big credit to him, is our ability to move him around. It's not like they can just target him in one spot. He is the X receiver who, you typically say is your boundary guy, but man, we put him in the slot, in the number 3 position, the number 2 position. We motion him. We can do a lot of things with him. And so to his credit, he can handle all that stuff, and therefore we can help create matchups for him where, man, he's going to get the ball. And then there's just those moments where, you know what, he's doubled and he doesn't care. He's still going to find a way.
Neither do you.
If you watch his record-breaking pass, 149, he's got one of these routes that's basically a 3-way go.
Okay.
He can break in, he can break out, he can hook it up. Well, the leverage of the DB is outside of him. He's in the slot. He runs up, he breaks in. The defensive end had dropped out, so now he's basically doubled in and out. Well, he just slams on the brakes and runs like an escape, gets back out of it, out leverages the DB, throw him the ball, he catches it, stiff arms, and dives in the end zone. And it's just one of those plays where you say, and very few guys, number 1, would be able to make that midstream adjust.
Yeah.
And then number 2, the run after the catch with him, he's just so physical, and he's just a man on a mission every time he gets the ball in his hands.
Who are some of the other guys that you've had that you just have loved having on your offense?
Listen, I've had so many. I mean, just in my San Diego days, there were quite a few, you know. But New Orleans, I started off with guys like Marcus Colston, Devery Henderson, Lance Moore, and Robert Meacham. I had those four for about a 7-year period of time, which I'd say is extremely rare in our league to have that type of continuity, and just guys that complemented each other so well. Meacham and Devery were two guys that could blow the top off. I mean, they could run with the best of them, and yet they could block, which those two are the best traits, right? Because now, whenever receivers are in tight splits, you think they're either blocking, right? And so all of a sudden you get these aggressive safeties, or all of a sudden, bang, you hit them with one of these where they're running by people. So it was a great weapon to have with those two. And then
how big were those guys? How tall?
Yeah, 6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah. Marcus was
decent size.
Marcus was 6'5".
Yeah.
He was 5th or 6th round?
He was a 7th round pick.
7th round, that's right.
He was a couple picks from being, Mr. Irrelevant?
Yeah.
Last pick of the draft. I mean,
you guys selected that year Mike Hass, who was the Biletnikoff Award winner out of Oregon State.
6th round out of Oregon State.
Yeah. And so I was in that rookie minicamp. When they signed Drew, I was in rookie minicamp with the Saints that year. They just drafted Reggie Bush. And Sean Payton and my college coach knew each other well, so Sean kind of knew who I was. And I'm throwing routes on air, and Colston runs one route, and Sean's behind me, and he goes, "Oh, that's great." And you could just tell, he just like lit up. And it was one route on air, and he's like, "Man, there's my guy."
Yeah. Again, the guys who can transition into the slot are extremely valuable. Because number one, you're not going to be able to target them from a defensive perspective, right? The best thing for a defense is when you know, hey, they're putting their X into the boundary every time, and so we have a way that we can double this guy. When you start moving them around, putting them in different places, it becomes a bit more problematic for defenses.
All right, guys, the Chiefs now back on the field, going to try to establish some rhythm. There's that easy completion, Joe. Get the quarterback on the outside.
For the first couple of little throws he threw to the little wide flares, he looked a little nervous or something there. I mean, one ball was in the dirt, and the other one was out in front.
That's a better call.
Yeah, get him.
Yeah.
Do you think he told Andy, like, hey, let's get an easy one?
They did the first 15. Joe's done it.
Yeah.
We've done it. I'm sure you guys do it.
Yep.
So these are not surprising plays to him.
To your point, Joe, listen, this game, man, everybody's got nerves, especially a lot of guys on this field. It's their first time in a game like this, right? So the best thing you can do is call them plays that these guys know by heart, right? They know it like the back of their hand. And it's, for a guy like Mahomes, you can see how comfortable he is when he is on the move, right? Yeah. And then, man, you can see things, great vision, and man, if there's nothing there, a guy like him, he's a good enough athlete where he's going to go make a play.
Right.
Well, there's that modern game. You can tell he's got that little RPO, reading something and then flip it out.
I keep looking.
And Richard Sherman knew.
Yeah.
But, it's just that little bit of.
Yeah. Listen, good throw by Mahomes, slowing him up with the ball. Listen, get
a mismatch there.
Get that guy the ball in space anytime, right? You hold your breath.
Yeah. Nothing against Richard Sherman. No one can make that tackle right there.
Right.
Those little guys are tough to duck underneath.
He can go from 0 to 100 fast.
I keep looking for a screen here somewhere. Knowing how much they've been giving another play. They run those little, I don't know what they call them. We never ran the screen right next to the line scrimmage, right next to the end of the line scrimmage. The tackles. Did you ever run those screens like the tight end?
You're talking where it's like a full slide with the line, and it looks like the back's going to block the edge, and then he just turns inside.
And they catch the screen.
No, we ran 22 flanker drive, halfback slide screen right.
Well, we all know these plays. They're the same terminology.
Well, it's amazing how it evolves. I mean, you talk about the screen game now. When I watch Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, I feel like they were the first ones that started actually calling, built-in pass plays with a screen.
Yeah.
So it was one of these where, hey, Aaron's dropping back, and if it's open over there, he's going to throw it. And if not, then he just gives it a little pump and drifts and gets the ball to the screen runner, right?
Almost like the screen's the check down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Holmgren actually, and I don't know if he did it with you guys, but he would call trips right, 3-jet flanker drive, halfback slide screen right. And you just ran. If
you
the
ran
flanker drive,
right?
if flanker drive was open, you threw it.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'd see the guards going this way, and the backers would think screen and just
Sure.
hit the
Just
drive.
open up on the backside.
I'd hate to be a defensive player and have to figure that out.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's hard to read.
Those of you watching at home, we encourage you to hit us up with questions. Ask the guys wherever you want to ask them. We'll try to get to your questions during the course of the day. Abby chimes in, and she's got a question for Brett. She says, Brett, do you buy into the Patrick Mahomes comparison? Hashtag Ask the Legends. A lot of people talking about, Patrick. Andy saw a little of you when he was trying to draft him out of, or did draft him out of Texas Tech. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that, I play a lot like him or played a lot like him and vice versa, but I do see some similarities. And obviously it's creativity, extending plays with your feet, the ability to make just about any throw. The only difference I see, and it's a big difference, is he doesn't turn the ball over. It's hard to be a riverboat gambler and not make mistakes.
Sure.
But yet he's able to make, really good plays, creative plays, and not turn the ball over.
Plus, you sling it from any arm angle too, high, low, side.
And that's good and bad.
No.
Holmgren's like, okay, John Wayne.
But to that point, because I think that's something that every young quarterback struggles with, is that you can make every throw.
Yeah.
But you just have to know the moments when
You would not.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I can make that throw. Unfortunately, I'm making a throw that's probably 1 out of 10, right? But I know I can make it. Well, 5 out of 10 might be picked off, right? So you just have to.
Well,
I figured I'd try first and see what the results were, and then regret it later.
You won't ever know unless you try it.
And Holmgren would agree with that. Holmgren's way of correcting that, honestly, was not call that play. It was like, I'm not calling it. It was a play, two jet X dagger, which when he called dagger, man, I was throwing a dagger. 3rd and 20, he's like, now look, if that dagger's not there, I'm like, oh, it's there.
Oh, it's
So he quit, 3rd and 20, he'd call just a hitch.
Yeah. We used to start.
Look at that.
We used to start running. I don't know. I'm trying to remember the terminology. Bill started pushing to 25, past 22, and it was basically just like a pivot hook at 25, and you just let it go right at the guy's back.
Yeah.
And when you have someone who can get down there fast like Jerry,
Killing people in post, man, they're still running on the
they're
post.
thinking post and comeback, because we threw a lot of comebacks, and he started adding that in there. But you could throw, because he's so deep, you could throw it over anybody just about.
One of the fascinating parts for some of us watching this matchup, two West Coast guys, Andy, Kyle Shanahan, is thinking about that lineage that really started, Joe, with you and Bill, to a certain extent, making it popular. And then it trickled down, and Mike then with you, Brett, and then Andy touched you guys, and then Gruden was in there on that camp, and then Sean Payton fell under Gruden, and all of a sudden Drew's under Sean Payton, and it's like this huge lineage of West Coast quarterbacks, and it's still happening today.
Well, what was nice is every quarterback coach you came at after that was with Bill, when he left, he actually added to the offense. Like Mike added a lot of things, like he added that screen pass to something. So they all had their own touch. Mike Shanahan did the same type of thing when he came there. He added something to all the plays. We kept the base of it, but they kept adding things onto it that made a big difference.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities in the West Coast, but also the evolution has changed tremendously. Somebody may call flanker drive, and then your opponent calls flanker drive, and that's about as far as it goes. Because a lot of the stuff that Kansas City does, and I was with Andy for quite a while, is a lot different. Mainly, and Joe will agree, we never ran the shotgun.
Oh yeah,
I mean, everyone's in shotgun now.
yeah. We did it once. Snapped the ball 3 feet over my head. That was it. That was the last time we saw it.
Oh boy.
This is where.
Here he goes.
Oh, wow.
Oh no. They're not going to give him the first down now.
No, he fumbled that backwards.
Yeah.
That's a big. He's a thick.
You don't want to take that hit.
No,
Well,
he's at the quarterback.
he saw the end zone.
Yeah. Oh. He didn't take that big. It looks like he skimmed it, got a little.
So
It
it's-
looked worse than it was.
Yeah, here's the
ball
deal,
went-
though. He was 2 yards past the first down, and that ball got knocked back
That's
2
right.
yards in front of the first down.
That's
so
right.
They're about to have a
So
fourth
that,
and
will
two.
that be, yeah.
It goes back.
Yeah, he'll go
It
back.
should-
Yeah,
it
ball went
should
back-
be.
Ball went
Oh, yeah,
backwards.
yeah.
So
Goes-
they'll-
goes
Pass-
back to the-
No, I didn't see. It was pass. So he was passing.
Yeah, he was 2 yards past
fumbled-
it.
fumbled
and he fumbled
back.
it 2 yards back behind. They're going to talk about it here.
Look at the color of the ball. Okay, this is the thing. This right here is what we played with.
Oh, I know.
Slick.
Red. When you come back after games and your hair's
Yeah.
like red.
Red. Yeah.
You got, man, what a difference.
saying you had a good-
Listen, absolutely. I'll be the first to acknowledge that. I remember when I first came in the league, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
So my first couple of years, same deal. And you, the home team, was the one who controlled the footballs.
Yeah.
So you didn't get to bring your own balls. You basically showed up and you played with whatever was given to you.
Oh.
So there were some places that were better than others, but yeah, it was pretty much just right out of the bag.
Yeah.
Were you involved in that group? Because I know
Yeah.
Peyton had a big
Well,
hand in that, and
yeah.
kind of changing that.
Brady had a hand in it too, and I remember talking to those guys after maybe before the 06 season, and it was one of these deals where, listen, it makes sense to allow each quarterback to break in the balls, and it's not like we're pitchers that are doctoring them up.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
But how that all
Doing
got
different
started,
things.
why
What's that?
they went into that was because of the kickers.
well,
Because
right?
the kickers
Because
would-
kickers would manipulate the balls. Yeah.
And they killed us. Because of the kickers, we had to play with balls right out of the box.
Yeah.
And then it was a nightmare. You
Yeah,
see
it
so
was.
many balls coming out of quarterback.
Especially if it was a cool, crisp night, no humidity.
Yeah.
Just slick.
You don't get any,
No
and then it's gone.
Yeah.
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 Or anytime you play in Buffalo, it comes out anyway.
Right. Yeah. How'd Jim Kelly do it, huh?
I know. He was amazing. I know how those guys do it.
Well, this looks like it's going to be the first big decision. If you're Andy and you put together a really nice drive, do you think he's going to go for this and be aggressive here? Or
I'll bet he goes for it.
I think I might kick it.
Kill it and die.
Yeah.
But
I think in a game like this,
He
you
doesn't
don't
wanna
I mean, you
lose.
don't-
But
If you
he's
go
been going
for
for
it.
it
Yeah.
a lot. I don't know if he does it in the Super Bowl, but he's been going for it.
They had a good drive, and if you don't get it, the momentum,
So
you
watch
get a field
this.
goal.
I would feel better about it if I was Andy if it was on the 20 and it was 4th and 1 rather than being down next to the goal line because the field's so condensed at that point.
Yeah, but
It's tempting,
it's something different.
but
though,
it's
about giving
early in
them
the
ball
game.
down there
Just
on the
take
one.
3 and go. I don't know what this is taking longer than I would think.
So,
You got to show off all these fancy new cameras Fox has
I know, why-
tonight,
I
Brett.
mean,
That's what we gotta
that definitely goes
There's gotta
back.
be a faster way to do it.
It's got to go back.
how come we can see it and make a decision faster than they can? I can't figure that out. If
I
we're
think
looking at it, they gotta be
that's a
looking at
very
it.
good question.
Every person at home is nodding along with
This
you
looks
right
like
now.
it's the 4th down to go for
Well,
it decision
yeah.
versus
We
the
got our
kick the
answer.
field goal decision.
They made a
got hit.
cowboy deal.
Oh, nice.
Touchdown.
There you go.
I told you they should go for it.
Tell you what,
Wow, and they bust out a little creativity there with that
Yeah.
shift, kind
Oh,
of into
I
a
like that.
wildcat
I like that.
formation.
I like the little
Here's the thing, if you-
temptation moves.
if
right?
you are going to go for it in that situation, you better have a play you like.
Always down.
Looks like he's
Yeah,
going to
he's
be
down.
short. They're celebrating a touchdown, but it definitely looks like he's going to be short on this one. Here's the shift, guys. Look, so they line up and then they all spin.
They did it. Look like Temptations.
Mahomes. You know what I love about that? That was unbalanced. So Mahomes lining up over the guard to the defense looks regular,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
There we go.
Good push.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't get it.
Man, FAR officials just not giving them anything.
I don't know how they could just see that.
They can't.
No, I know. They got
He
cameras
looked
all
at
over
me
the
that they
goal
pushed
line,
way.
too.
Somebody pushed way across.
Yeah.
What'd you guys like down here, goal line? Obviously, running the football, you'd love to just hand it off and get a touchdown.
Fullbacks in
Well, look
there.
where they are. They're at the.
You almost. I mean, a quarterback sneak if he just jumps up.
There you go.
I don't know if that was even designed that way.
I don't think it was.
I think they worked out okay.
All right. Got a game. Two offenses
go.
moving the ball.
Here we go.
Yeah. All right, let's see this.
Now we'll see how the 49ers respond. This is I think, where the test starts, right? They got to move the ball. They got to do something.
I think the last San Francisco's been up. I know at least like on Green Bay and playing with a comfortable lead.
And meanwhile,
I think
Kansas
the one
City's
game
been
that
down.
really to me was like the coming out, like I thought they were legit, was against Drew. I mean, it was a slugfest back and forth in a hostile environment, and they held their own.
Was it 49-48?
Yeah, 48-46. Probably not what anybody expected.
No.
With two really good defenses on the field.
Yeah.
You know, ours and theirs.
Yeah.
But just ended up being one of those games.
But at least you guys like show the vulnerability of their defense.
Yeah, you know, it's how sometimes you just have those games where
It just
you know
goes.
you call it at the right time and stuff works. And listen, same for them. They, as I recall, they broke out some trick plays and
Yeah.
had
You're
some
right.
things happen where you just feel that the
Yeah.
pace of a game like that, where you know it's going to be, hey, we're just going to have to outscore them.
Yeah.
You know, just like some of those games where you know, man, it's tough sledding right now.
Yeah.
We just got to find a way to win this one 13-10.
Again, we're taking your questions from home, so throw them our way. And I know, Brett, someone had just asked us in social, do you have one of your best Andy Reid stories that you could maybe think back and give us here?
Well, I got some really good Andy Reid stories. One,
What was his role? What was his role there?
the
With
first 3 years he was tight end coach. The next 3 he was quarterback coach. Next 4.
Okay.
So I was with Andy a long time. So Andy would okay me telling this story, because when I got inducted into the Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame, I was the only one inducted. Andy came to the event, and we were both in the same hotel, and I sent him a text a couple hours before, and I said, Andy, you mind if I tell the get off the cord story? And he goes, absolutely, you have to tell it. So we were in a preseason game, 95, 96, 97, somewhere in Green Bay. And this is back when the headsets, you had cords. You had someone holding the cord for you. And I'm out of the game. Whoever was Hasselback or somebody else was in the game. And Andy's walking back and forth, and the guy's like hustling behind him. Well, there was the same chain game we had for many years. And this one heavyset guy was standing on the cord, and the guy that he ran out of slack that was carrying it for Andy, and Andy's head got pulled back, yanked his head back, and pulled the headset off. And Andy looks over at the guy, and he's like, "Hey, get off the cord, you fat ass!" The guy looks at Andy and goes, "Who you calling a fat ass?" And Andy, he broke. I mean, he started laughing. Andy's a good sport, and he was like, "You got me. That was good. But yeah, Andy's awesome. A lot of fun. Real simple. You know, he came in like the first day, and he and I had known each other for several years because he was our tight end coach. But he said, "Look, I'm not going to teach you anything about mechanics. I'm not going to try to change anything. I'm just going to give you, little tidbits of information, tricks and trades of watching film, what to look for, what not to look for, and we're just going to go and have fun." And we did. And I think every guy that's played for him would say the same thing. He's one of the good guys.
Seems like it. Everybody that talks to you back there just says nothing but great things and fun. Loves the game. Loves the guys that are playing for him. And his description I heard of Mahomes was Yeah, we just give him something and say, yeah, well, what do you want to do? Just do whatever you want to do. Pretty much, just take and go. After a while, you just improvise, and they'll get on the side like he said here, like where they're talking, and he'll say, what do you want to do? And it's just, well, I think I can do this. It's all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
You know, he's very flexible. There's not a lot of coaches that gives the quarterback, even if they've been around a long time, that kind of flexibility.
They do a good job of that. It's kind of their wheelhouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
That looked like one of those stop routes, Joe.
Yeah.
It's a big play action, heavy play action, and he just
Full
stops
run
in the middle of the
It
field.
looks like one of those post hook reads.
Yep, middle of the field close, the
there
safety
you
stops,
go.
wide
Throw it in his
receiver
back.
stops, bang, right there.
Throw it in his back.
Good read by Garoppolo there in real time. And from under center, like Joe, you were talking about, Brett, you weren't in the shotgun a
Not
lot,
until
right?
2002.
And then you started getting into a little bit. You're almost every snap, right, Drew?
No, I'd
About
say
90%?
we're probably middle of the pack.
Okay.
We're probably middle of the pack. No, I'd say we go under quite a bit more than a
most?
lot of teams. Yeah.
I'm just thankful Joe wasn't in shotgun, because then we wouldn't have seen those smooth, beautiful feet. That footwork that Joe had throughout his career was something else, wasn't it?
You know,
I mean, I hate to sit here and brag about Joe, but I studied his film over and over again. I wanted to, but Holmgren also was a stickler about studying the guys that do the same thing or have done the same thing that you're going to do. And it was ridiculous. My footwork never looked that pretty. I was all over the place. I'm like, how does he do that? And Brady's the only one that really that comes close to the pocket presence. It's just a guy can just get that close, and if a guy just grazes me, I'm gone, man. I'm out of there. And they have this knack for just resetting and just without panicking.
That brings up a good question for all of you. Who are the guys that you looked up to, tried to emulate at the position, throughout your lives as you guys were on your football journey?
Well, obviously, and Joe knows that he's one of my idols were Roger Staubach and Archie Manning. And if you look at the way I played, it's a lot like them, especially Archie. Well, really both. I mean, you never knew. They running around doing all kinds of stuff. Maybe I had a little stronger arm than them. But when it got to really what I was doing in Green Bay, I studied Joe. And that was kind of frustrating because he did do it so perfect. And really, Drew came a little bit behind me, but Drew plays a lot like Joe. Maybe you're even a little bit more mobile than Joe. Not that it really matters.
What?
But you have this knack for your footwork. You're just never out of rhythm.
Yeah.
And for me, and I think a lot of it too is knowing your limitations and playing to your strengths. And for me, it was hard because I really felt like if my feet were out of whack, I can make every throw, and sometimes I get away with it. But these guys, I mean, I'd like to think I was a perfectionist, but I wasn't. I made a lot of mistakes because I thought I could do everything.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about being really flawless in how you play and knowing your limitations and your footwork. And to me, watching both these guys and seeing how they never panic. And you don't have to play a lot to know that, man, it's like a hornet's nest in there sometimes.
Yep.
And be able to, the good ones can just calm in the eye of the storm. And these guys do it as good as anybody.
Joe, who'd you look up? Who did you try to emulate?
I didn't really try to emulate. I think if you look at guys, you look up to guys, but you don't. The one thing I was always taught was you want to try to be yourself, right? You have to know, like you said, you got to know your limitations, right? So I know I didn't have that kind of arm like these guys, and if I'm throwing to Jerry on a go, I'm gonna hit that fifth step, and that ball's got to go. It's got to come out fast for me.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really. I looked up to a lot, like Unitas, and one of the guys crazy. He's won 4 Super Bowls, hadn't lost any. I grew up outside of Pittsburgh in a little town called Monongahela, a little south of there, and I was watching the Steelers when I was young, and they were terrible. Bradshaw came along, Steel Curtin, Mel Blount, and that whole group of Lynn Swann and Franco, and you sit.
Oh, huge mistake there. Garoppolo
There it goes.
gets pressure in the pocket, like you were talking about, Brad, and then kind of flips one up there.
That's really the first good pressure they put on him.
Yeah, but these are the times right here that you gotta.
Here's
That
the
he
thing.
hadn't been there, right?
Yeah,
You just got to get it on the ground somewhere.
it's
hard.
It looks like he might be trying to throw it away, but get it far enough out of bounds and close enough to somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe it's hard to tell, but
you don't have to throw it out of bounds, right? As long as it goes past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's got to be past line of scrimmage and close to one of your guys. He's in the pocket, right?
The problem
So
is
he feels Debo here. He's just trying to maybe lay it.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Man.
Yeah, so there's nothing worse than sometimes the guy gives up on you like that.
Yeah.
And had he stayed with his route, he probably doesn't catch it. But
Well,
the other
he
guy
doesn't
doesn't
catch
catch
it,
it either.
exactly.
Yeah, he stays even with him and not at least
make it an incompletion.
he
right?
could have tackled him right there. It's been better than
Yeah.
he's got a throwaway potential if he just throws it over his back's head.
When, as a quarterback right here, he sees this position.
He's
right
got
there.
He's got a chance
that
at
guy to
completing
go on
that
the corner.
pass.
Yeah,
he does.
He's actually going to stick it and come to the corner and flatten him off. As bad as that looks, he's got a chance.
And he's putting it into that spot where he's
He
going to
put
come
it in a
back
good
to.
spot.
Yeah. See, Phillies.
Here's the thing. It's. Do you
I love it.
Do you trust that
saying,
guy?
Hey, that wasn't that bad.
Now it's a young receiver. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Well,
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, if you trust that guy you're throwing to, you can throw it up to him.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But obviously, the pass was affected by him getting hit. Otherwise, maybe he's able to locate that ball a little bit better, and the result's different.
All right, now on the flip side, biggest moment of the game, right? A turnover here. Everything else is just kind of played out. If you're Andy and Patrick Mahomes
for the
here,
throw.
you're on a good spot on the field. Is this where you want to go out and be aggressive?
This might not be complete.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they just show and see that. Watch.
Well, it depends on where he controlled it. Just so if you're at home right now, you've got commercials. We've got the feed that's going on from the truck right now. So people at home are not watching this.
Yeah.
There's a chance, folks, that this is going to be in a review based
Now, to
on
me,
when it was actually controlled.
That's an interception. But
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, there's
That's
one.
nothing.
There's maybe two.
There's two. He's got
so they
two.
might get it. Yeah, they give it to him. I
got
think.
two.
It's
Because
those are the things that drive you crazy. It's like, so you go back to what makes it overturnable, right? You go back when the Chiefs were playing New England a couple years ago, right? And they in the championship game, 2 plays. One with the punt, they called it a muff when they didn't call it a muff, but it didn't look like there was enough to overturn it. They overturned it. The incomplete pass,
Right.
That with the Patriots, they call it a catch, and clearly it's working. So they're obviously giving it to him. It's hard. I mean,
Yeah, they're going for
Here
it.
they go.
Yeah.
Here they go.
Oh, here you go. They run this play all the time.
What is it?
It's you typically get
Like a
some
wheel?
sort of a tight formation. This boundary receiver runs the post, and you slip this receiver or tight end like he's on a shallow cross, and then he wheels it up the sideline.
yeah.
But it's delayed, so watch everyone here. The back's in the flat. He's holding this flat defender, and then the shallow cross turns it up.
And the other guy was running down the post or
Yeah,
something.
they're clearing
hold the
it
safety.
out with the post, holding the flat defender with the flat.
And he's just going to read that high-low. If he gets the
high-low.
post, he's banging it.
No,
And
the post is
just a clear out.
occupying. Yeah,
then it would have to be a total bust for him to throw that.
right.
And that's probably Tyreek. Just take the top off
Exactly.
and go.
Yeah,
Put a big piece of cheese in the middle of the field.
a little piece. Fast little piece.
Fast little piece
Yeah,
of cheese.
fast little piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Torrey Smith chiming in on Twitter. Says Andy Reid left the conservative stuff in the past. He wants that ring. That has been a bit of a knock on Andy in the past. I think that over the last couple of years, that's certainly been put to rest with the way that they've attacked the defenses in Kansas City.
I don't know. A head coach gets blamed for a lot, but Andy, I think their defense has kind of hurt him a little bit
Sure.
the last few years.
You bet.
I mean, they've scored points.
Sure.
You can't. I don't know if I would ever knock Andy's creativity or will to hit the gas. I don't think that's what's kept him from winning one.
Listen, I'd say this too. You play to the strengths of your team, right? And there was a stretch of time there where Kansas City had one of the best defenses in the league.
Right. Yeah.
You go back to some of those Alex Smith years, and you could see it on film that, listen, that defense was going to hold teams to 10, 14, 17 points a game. So offensively, it was, man, we're going to run the ball, we're going to ball control. Why would we take any unnecessary chances,
Alex
right?
is not going to make a mistake.
Yeah. Now, I think in recent years, they've had to score a little bit more. But also, you've got Patrick Mahomes, who he's capable of so much, right? And I think he's at his best when, man, you're high flying and you're aggressive and you're putting him on the perimeter and you're allowing him to throw the ball down the field and just be instinctive, right? Let him be instinctive.
What's the balance, Drew, in this game? You know, if you go, because I remember Sean was so aggressive with that onside kick after, what's the balance of the aggressiveness, taking chances in this game versus trying to play with what got you there?
We joke around and say aggressively smart.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Which is basically that, you know what, we're going to call it. Like, call it all. Shoot every bullet in the gun, and yet understand as a quarterback that if it's not there, check it down, we'll come back and call it again. So if you know that as a quarterback, you have that confidence, and the coach has the confidence, listen, we're going to dial it up, and if it's there, you let it fly, and if it's not, we'll come back and call it again when it's a better look.
It's the whole basis of Bill's offense. We're going to give you somebody down the field. If it's not there, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 more down here. Right. First down, you don't need to throw it down there. If you hand off and run the ball for 4 yards, it's good, right? 4 yards on a run, good. You drop back to pass on first down, and you don't get it down the field. You drop it to the tight end. He gains 4 yards, and they're thinking, okay, we got it. We stopped him. Same 4 yards. Right? Sure. It's just mentality thinking by the defense. They're not always the smartest people in the world. I'm just kidding for all you defensive people.
Unless you call X Dagger.
And then Dagger.
Just throw him
and Razor.
You mean there was an underneath throw?
Not on Dagger.
No, I was throwing Dagger.
No, he was the underneath guy because the other guy was clearing. Right? That's it.
Yeah. I think year 18, I dumped it off to that guy underneath, and I was excited as I was when I threw the touchdown in the Super Bowl and Razor. That's kind of their little
option.
3rd and 1, 4th and 1 deal.
I'm not sure I want to run it against that guy too much.
It's just so tough to stop.
Well, they're playing a jam front, looks like.
There's just no numbers out there.
He's got to cover both guys.
Yeah.
It's basically a zone read in the form of a little speed option,
It's a great game plan deal because they're playing man coverage. Typically on an option play like that, you would offset the back to that side, but that's going to bring an extra defender.
Right.
So you give them to the other side, you give yourself better leverage.
Oh, held it.
Look for the ball.
Do you want to draw that set, Drew? And just like that, those numbers on that back side, or like what happens on the back side there?
It was a jam front, right?
Yeah.
Brett, did you see it?
Yeah.
And probably a Sam backer, probably another backer covering the back. All right, so here's what you got. That's your look. Back flows here, he flows, he works up to ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Now the end is free, and you got basically a 2-on-1, right?
It's a bit of how the Bear, part of what the original Bear defense was. They covered the center and both guards.
Yep.
And
you would attack off the edge.
They make you block one-on-one, so you have to turn somebody loose at some point.
Did you guys ever have any automatic checks against that?
No, what we started to do the first time we tried playing it, we tried to get everybody out, right? And then we decided that Bill, it didn't work. You couldn't get rid of the ball fast enough.
Because they bumped.
And so we went the total opposite way. We blocked every throw we made. We blocked full protection on the run. Your guy doesn't come immediately, go.
There you go.
So that's how we started to handle it.
And that was that 58 protection, 59 protection.
Yeah, because the thing that was happening, like you would go and you watch film, and you're going, oh my God, everybody's open. Oh, quarterback's on his back.
Yeah.
Too late, right? So the only other way to do it is to block everybody and then play one-on-one on the outside.
Good stand for the defense.
Yep, big stand. Kansas City's going to have to
Getting
settle
driven
for a
away
field goal
3
after
here
that
is
turnover,
it's kind of a win.
especially after the turnover.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Kansas City goes up 10-3. But Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator for the 49ers, he's pumped because of
He
that.
should be.
A little sudden change there. Their defense goes out there, holds them to 3 points. That's a nice
You're
win for
playing
San Francisco.
I mean, a dynamic, creative, prolific offense. Just gets a big turnover, half the field to work with. 3 points is a win.
I think they're going to go back to the run game. Right? So that's the thing that you hope doesn't happen, that you don't get scared of the quarterback because he makes a mistake. You just got to give him a little bit other things that he does better than to have to hold the ball and wait on somebody.
What did you guys want to hear and not want to hear after an interception? You know, a mistake.
So one of the first times I threw an interception in the end zone, it used to go from the field right to Bill Walsh, and I knew I was in trouble because he had this card like that, and he was doing this right here. And when I got over there, he said, what was that? And I said, I think they call that an interception, Coach. But the typical Bill. Try not to let that happen again, would you? I go, I'm going to do my best, I promise.
That didn't work so well for me. We had a lot more of those conversations than you guys had.
Oh, no, from then on, I didn't go back to him. I went to the phone first. Then I gave him time to calm down.
Cool off?
Yeah, not like he was really steamed. I mean, he was, but that was his way. I didn't go right to him any longer.
Now, did you have a cooling off period with? I saw something the other day with it was Hasselbeck and Holmgren in Seattle, where they developed this cooling off period rule.
I got my ass ripped. You know, Hass, who is a dear friend of mine, is so sensitive. And Coach, why are you getting mad at me? I need you. Give me some time to
process what just happened.
So, I mean, he even went to Kathy, Mike's wife, and begged for like a cooling off period. No.
Oh, no, Mike was different.
Mike would kind of get out about 3 steps on the field, and then Andy and Mooch would try to intervene. And there's some of that NFL film stuff, like, I got him, Coach, I got him. And he would kind of, one of them would be the buffer, but Mike wanted to. He wanted
his
to strangle
piece.
me.
Yeah, he'd be the color of the hat.
Oh,
right?
yeah. He would.
But I had another way of sometimes when you get yelled at. I found out though. I was just sitting after I was getting yelled at on the phone. I go, shit. Let me down 9. Hey, how you doing? Call home. Call my wife. She goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm talking to you on the phone. Well, you're playing. I go, I just
did.
dialed
You really
home.
call?
Yeah. There's like a bunch of places you could hit 9 and dial home. I would dial home all the time. After I found out, I tried everywhere I could go.
Folks, you've heard it here.
I was dialing.
This is a first for Drew and I. I can promise you.
Oh, the first time I did it, she about crapped her pants. She's going, "What are you? You're playing it."
We almost crapped our pants.
I was about to say. So was that for your sake? Would that just reset? Would that reset you?
Yeah.
Was that the purpose of
And
that?
then once I found it out, then I tried everywhere. No matter whether I was in a bad mood or not. I just
mine to
called,
get out.
Hey. They're moving the ball. Let me see if I can get it.
That's a first.
Did you order a pizza?
Like people say, well, yeah, he's probably ordering a pizza. And I'm going, no, I just called home. See how everything was back there. See how the kids were.
Yeah, that's a first.
Now we know why he stayed so cool, calm, and collected, right?
That's amazing.
God.
That is amazing. All right.
All right, we got
Second
8:50 left, boys. Second quarter, 2nd and 9. And San Francisco hasn't really gotten that run game going. Joe, to your point about that Kansas City front.
Well, you know what? Those last couple of games, Derrick Henry is not. Yeah, that's a load. And for them to do the job, the 49ers though they ain't gonna give up on it as long as they keep the game close. The game gets like if they'd have scored a touchdown, they still would have stayed a little bit with it, I think. But you start getting into 2 scores and maybe 3 scores, and you got to abandon it to a certain degree. But I mean, that's their bread and butter. If they can keep the game close and be able to do this.
This was a good one.
Yeah.
Got to have those wide receivers. So important in the run game. You were talking about guys willing to block, you know?
Yeah, I think that's something that separates the Niners from a lot of teams in the run game as well. It's not only are they good with their front 7 or 8, but, man, they can get after you with the receivers too.
Guys, how much in the heat of the moment here, in particular in a big game, right, when you know your defense just made a big stand, they've been on the field a little bit, hey, we got to put together a drive here, you know, time-wise, field position-wise, all of those different things to try to keep them on the sideline. Are you ever conscious of that in there, or do you talk to your offense before the series?
You hear it from the defense first. They're still going, go, let's go. We're tired. We need a break. Get the offense
Stay out
going.
there.
Stay out there.
Yeah. They're the first ones to tell you. You don't need to hear from the coach.
You hear it all.
Sure.
Yeah.
Here we
I
go.
like this kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Purdue guy.
Well, that's too bad.
No, it's guys like that you cheer for. You know, this is his 5th NFL team in, I think, 4 years.
Yeah,
he was a couple practice squads, been released quite a few times, and he has a breakout season there.
Yeah.
He can run.
Absolutely, yeah. He does a lot.
Wasn't even a starter and had 220 against the Packers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And this is a guy that
Man.
didn't he have the separated?
He was hurt against one play and done, I think, against the Pack.
He's got that shoulder.
Yeah, he's got that
Oh, yeah,
brace
there
on.
it is. Yeah, I see it now.
Gosh, how long are the Shanahans going to run that zone, man? They are so
As long
good
as
at
they can
that.
still have
they
plays
can.
like that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
They've been so
I saw it
effective.
so many times in the Super Bowl against us.
Super Bowl
Terrell
32
Davis.
against Denver.
Like, I think I said the same thing you just said.
And that was in
Are
Super
you-
Bowl 32.
Like, my goodness, how many times are they going to run that play? Now, see, that's a good counter to they run the ball well. That's kind of more what they want to do.
Yeah.
Same action for the offensive line. They're just running that zone over there.
Good route. Get that guy turning around like that.
Yeah.
Good bounce back drive from San Francisco here all around. Starting with that run game, but then Jimmy makes a couple nice throws.
He's touchdown.
I thought that was Kittle. He looked just like Kittle. What a play.
Yeah, nice,
Wow.
Nice play.
That's pretty impressive out of a fullback.
Tell you what, he is a great athlete.
All off of that run action.
Yeah.
Same thing. You know,
Yeah.
they just come out,
I
boot
thought
out
it
of
was
it.
a good play selection to come back and do it again. You know, most people probably expect here comes the run, which would have been a good choice probably.
But you can't do that if they don't run. Have those big
That's
runs.
exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly right. Everything starts with the run.
Yeah.
Play action, bootleg game, the RPOs.
Yep. That was a really obviously a needed drive, but a good one. Kind of get back to what they do.
Tens.
As we thought, this is a game.
Yeah.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
More
Those
importantly,
play callers.
Do we get to watch halftime?
We will be taking a break at halftime here, so we're going to shut down for halftime. We'll be able to maybe check out the halftime show.
You looking forward to the Beyonce concert?
J-Lo and Shakira?
Is it Beyonce playing?
No.
That was
J-Lo and Shakira.
Oh. I saw her pulling up to the game. I thought she was. Maybe she's maybe it's a surprise. Maybe.
The last time Beyonce performed, she blew out all the lights.
Huh?
Remember that?
Did she really?
In New Orleans?
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Was that the one where Baltimore and San Francisco?
Baltimore and San Francisco, that's right.
Yeah.
We should talk
All right.
like
I'm not up to
technology
speed on my
these days.
halftime shows.
Do you remember when we first used to play in? So now you see all those guys looking at the iPads and stuff,
Yeah.
or whatever they call them.
We had a
iPad.
piece of paper.
Right. At the Saints facility, they used to take photos way up at the top, and they had a wire. And you know those big metal clips?
Yeah.
They would take the photo,
run it down.
stick the thing on the wire, and it would come all the way down the field. We get little Polaroids. So now everything's on the iPad. How things have changed over the years.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Got the
That was
surface
fun,
now. Guys, we did get a question come in. Let's go to it here. Just Chillin' says, what or who were the most intimidating defenses that you played against? Drew, since you're going right now, what do you think?
Is this of all time?
Yeah, your career, right? Throughout your career.
Oh man, played against some good ones. There was a stretch there with the Ravens, obviously, where they were as good as you can imagine with Ray Lewis and Suggs and Ed Reid. And,
Yeah.
they always seem to have great pass rushers and great secondary players, and especially playing at their place. So I'd say they rank up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's Tampa and Chicago. Same defense or style of defense. Everyone talked about Tampa too. Yeah, they played that, but they played more three, kind of like Seattle and what San Francisco is doing now. Very simple defense, but if the front four can get to you, there's nowhere to throw it.
Yeah.
And you don't have a whole lot of time. Usually, for rushing forward, you can block them up, but.
Were there guys in particular, whether it was like
was
like
a guy
Derek
named
Brooks
Warren
Warren
Sapp.
Sapp? There you go.
That kind of was in your lap.
You guys had some epic conversations on the field as well.
He was the fastest guy off the ball I've ever seen, and just undersized, but he had everything else.
Yeah.
And he was the best trash talker I've ever.
You appreciated it, didn't you?
After a while, I was like, I didn't want to talk trash back because I don't want to provoke you. But I mean, enough's enough. Well, that was a bad idea.
Sure.
It provoked him.
Joe, who are the defenses?
The Giants.
Giants.
Yeah. For us was they started, and then for one there was one. I'll put in Atlanta for one reason, and one game only. Till we figured it out was one of the first time. Like we used to run a lot of crossing routes, right? And we had signed a guy named Ronaldo Nehemiah, and fast track guy was catching the ball. And they ran like typically when you look out and you see you would get two safeties and you get bump and run, and if the receivers release outside, they take off running with them. Use man to man. And I let this ball go on the cross, and I go, oh no. They did this thing where they would run with him, and then at the last second, after about 6 or 7 yards, they would spin back to the inside looking for the cross guy.
Yeah.
And they found it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still to this day, every time I see Ronaldo, I apologize. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about that. But the Giants were probably the best. When they had that Lawrence Taylor and those guys going, and then in Philly there for a while when Reggie White.
Yeah, Reggie.
Man, it was so funny. When Reggie started that, and most of the guys you see him like they were all lined up straight, right? And Reggie started that kind of cockeyed right next to the center like this, and the guard's right there, and you would see our guard would be going, and the center's going like this, and they're trying to close that gap before he got in there. But they were tough too.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Jerome Brown.
Yeah. Oh man, that defensive line was huge. That one, and when I first got to there with the Rams too, their front four were just beating the dog out of us early. Well, your guys' team too, though. You had some bucket heads on that team.
The Dome Patrol, right?
Oh my gosh, that was 1 and 2 would have been the Giants and them when Sam Mills, and Ricky Jackson,
Pat Swilling,
Pat Swilling. Yeah, that was a good group.
Yeah, they were good. Not good enough against you.
I know I never lost in that building. I don't know how or why. I think
I got a pretty good idea why.
Games.
That was, it was a mental thing. There was no wind, field flat, no arms, loving it. No, don't have to worry about rain.
I think accurate throws, right decisions.
Yep.
Perfect footwork had something to do with it.
That's right.
Get on the ground, dude.
All right, 2 minutes, guys. 2:50 now, 2:55. In this second quarter, you start getting into that mode where you want that last score, you know?
Yeah, listen, this is a critical period of time here because both teams have only had 3 possessions in this game thus far. Right. So they're both controlling the ball really well.
Did you guys talk about this halftime and when you're not getting the ball the next one? We never even worried about that. Like here now, everybody's like, don't get the ball back to the 49ers because if they score and then get the ball back again, we never.
I'd say that's talked about a lot.
Yeah, so we never talked about any of that.
And just a reminder, Kansas City started with the ball in this game, so San Francisco is going to get the ball to start the second half.
It's important for these guys to give them the ball back with enough time. Absolutely. If they don't score, they got to just get the clock out of there. You don't want them scoring twice on you.
Yeah.
2-minute warning here. Man, good first half. Both teams making some plays. One mistake from Jimmy G.
I saw something just now. It's probably a little bit higher, but total yards is like 60 to 45.
Yeah.
Really?
Serious?
Yeah.
Like that, or
it's probably
rush yards. I think that was rush yards.
It may be.
You guys have stats? They have stats over there?
They got stats for everything.
We'll get them.
But they really, they haven't had big chunks passing. The one pass that Drew was talking about that they do all the time, they've gotten that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys, Brett, you were talking about trash talk earlier, in particular with Warren Sapp. We got a question here from CJ who says, who's the biggest trash talker you ever played against? So, Brett, it was clearly Warren for you, right? Not even close. Joe, anybody that you played against?
A lot. Most of it was more fun stuff. Like Tim Harris he would be standing there looking to the sideline. Hey, Joe. Hey, what are you doing? Where'd you go last night? What's happening? Why are you looking over there? I'm talking to you. Don't look over there. I mean, he was just constantly, and then he ended up coming playing for us, and I call him George. I only remember he reminded me of the Abominable Snowman in cartoons. Hey, George, how you doing, George? I used to call him George.
Did he still talk to you when he was on your team? Which
even in practice, all the time he would still keep talking. Hi, shut up, Tim. Leave me alone. But he was great player, funny player. But there was only a couple really games where, when we played the Cowboys, there was a lot going on, especially in the championship game.
Yep.
In 81, or 80, championship game would have been 82. But
okay.
We beat them before.
What did you say after the catch?
Well, when I got up, someone in the pile, no names, said, "You just beat America's team." And I said, well, that's great. You can sit home with the rest of America and watch us in the Super Bowl. And then I'm watching. Thanks to Eric Wright, he kept it going because they got the ball back, and if he doesn't make that horse collar tackle on Pearson, they score and they win. Yeah. But it was crazy. Yeah, there was a lot going on. I mean, and then Harvey Martin came in and hit me. It was like in the third quarter, and he goes, "And I will be back." And I said, "Well, I hope so, because I was beginning to think you weren't in the game." And my left guard goes, "Why do you got to say that to my guy?"
Exactly.
I go, you've been kicking his butt all day. What do you care? It's.
I like it.
Oh, that's a little too deep. Oh, what are you doing?
Ooh, stay in bounds.
Yeah.
Golly.
And you say that for the exact reason we were just talking about, right?
Well,
Because you could be
first
given
off,
an extra possession.
first
back.
off, there's more yardage to get. Because now you're in a 3rd and 15, and you stop the clock, so the chances of you getting this third down are not good.
Yeah.
And you're going to punt it back to them and give them a chance to go down and get points.
Yeah, there's a lot of time left.
Yeah.
Big one here for Mahomes. 3rd and 14. What do you guys like here?
I think he'll kind of do his thing. I mean,
Yeah. Scramble around.
scramble around, buy some time.
Yeah. Pump at the screen.
Oh,
That's actually a good play call, but
Stay in the air.
yeah.
I'm not a screen person.
Now you got to hope your punt team does this
I
job.
like the little screens, but I don't like the traditional screen. I just can't.
You know what we did? I don't know if you guys did it. It was good. The double screen.
Fake double screen.
White check middle. Yeah. I guess you did do it.
Yeah, we did.
You fake it over there, twirl around, and fake it over here, and then
Throw it to the Y. Who's
Yeah, you
blocking,
probably have
blocking.
done it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but like when I would fake here and when I'd twirl and turn around, every once in a blue moon there would be one waiting on me.
Well, it's that, or it never really worked in practice,
timing.
right?
Right,
It never
yeah.
worked in practice. It was one of those that it's like, hey, trust me, it's going to work in the game, right? But still, it's one of those things when you haven't had success in it in practice.
Yeah.
There's just that
Yeah.
level of doubt of pump here, pump there, and
Yeah.
it's like, what's going to happen? I really
Right.
have no idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
How can you not kick it out?
Kicks it into the Colquitt, kicks it into the end zone. They had a shot there.
Yeah.
Batted back. But
Listen, this is a big series right here.
Yeah, it is.
I'm surprised that they let the clock run and didn't call a timeout.
yeah, how many timeouts did they have?
They have 3.
They had 3, right?
Yeah, that really surprised me. Maybe they're content just going in.
I didn't even realize that till just now.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you want the
59
timeouts
seconds.
or did you want the time?
No.
Well, I mean, think they're like Drew's saying.
You want time.
40 seconds.
want-
You
Right.
were going to have
Time.
2 timeouts and a minute and 40 seconds.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
That's
agree
a
with
much
you.
better-
I'm just wondering, like I've heard some quarterbacks say, like, I want to use the timeouts. Give me the timeouts.
Yeah, no, it's okay to have the timeouts, but it's more important to have the time.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
with
you can get to the sideline, you can throw incomplete, you can control some of that clock, and not have to worry about the time. Timeouts are just money in the bank if you got them.
Yeah.
I mean, but most of the time you want time.
Is there a way you like to
At least I
open
don't
up
want time.
a series like this at the 20, 59 seconds, about a minute left? Is there a way that you like to try to get into a series, whether it's screen, something a little safe, hopefully it pops, or what do you like?
Shoot, I might still be playing, so I'm not giving anything away right now.
That's smart.
Very
They do
smart.
it,
I'll let them
but
talk
this year,
about
like the first game of the year against Houston,
Yep.
and I can name several this year where they did that, where that last drive, whether it be right before half, you get a good positive play. That kind of dictates what you're going to do
For the rest of that series.
Yeah. And a lot of it is you got 50 seconds left. You got 80 yards to go, and you go -2 the first play.
Yeah, let's go in.
You may run another play and just test the waters. If you get 16, then maybe you regroup. Let's go at it and try to get 3.
Mm-hmm.
But you get 8 the first play or 15. Man, we're going.
Yeah, you can
We're
get that
going.
field goal.
And you got a guy like Drew. You got a guy like Joe. I mean, Sean's turn him loose. Just let him do his thing. But you get sacked the first play, you look at it a lot differently.
Yep.
I guess they try to do that run pass option where they run slants, right, and take a read and give it a shot. They're going to get the ball back. They don't want to obviously give it back to them. But if they get a chance to hit that slant and get a good chunk of yards, but
I'd say this surprises me though, because if you're up 24-10, then hey, maybe you're content going in at halftime knowing you're going to get the ball.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not give them anything at this point. But 3 points in this game is huge, right?
Yeah.
Could have saved.
so-
40
Yeah, I don't know. I'd
seconds.
like to know what he was thinking.
If you have a minute 40 and 2 timeouts,
That's a lot.
and then to your point, listen, take if things aren't going great on the drive, then just you can be conservative and then go on at half. But and you hit a couple nice plays and you're at midfield now and you got a chance to go get points. Then let's be aggressive.
It's also ball position. If that ball's on the one, a little different.
Sure, right.
When he kicks that
I'd
ball,
like to know with Shanahan what is. We say this and they go down and score.
Well, I was going to say we're going to know real quick. So to me, that tells me that they're
going to run it out.
They're content with what.
How many timeouts Chiefs have?
They have 3.
They got all 3, the Chiefs?
I think both sides do. I think both sides have.
Yeah, they're showing John Lynch in the box. He wanted the timeout.
Why is he calling?
They're not even calling timeouts yet, and Kansas City's not calling.
See, at this point.
See, I'd be calling.
All right, listen. They're playing man coverage. Go do something.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they're.
I'll be calling.
You wouldn't take
Chiefs
a shot.
Timeout immediately. Make them kick me the ball.
Well,
I figured they'd give you all the hitches you want right there. What I know, they're playing man and saying, "Come on, let's do something."
Yeah. But that little run pass thing, or the run and roll out, which they hit the tight end for.
Yeah.
I mean the fullback for touchdown.
So who just called a timeout there?
I believe it was the Chiefs.
Yeah,
guys,
sure. They want a punt return.
They want at least a punt return.
Absolutely.
Greg Olson chimes in. Only explanation not to use a timeout. Afraid Colquitt pins you back deep. Have to be conservative. KC uses 3 timeouts and you punt with over a minute. Content to go in at 10-10.
Yeah, that's
so he's
true.
saying, like, if you call the timeout there and make you a minute 40 and then Colquitt pins you at the 1, now all of a sudden they've got 3 timeouts. They could potentially get it. That's interesting. I mean, that's.
But still, I'd say you have 59 seconds, 3 timeouts, and you're at the 20.
Yeah.
That's still plenty of opportunity to go get a field goal. If you're going to throw the ball, be aggressive.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, now you get this extended halftime, guys. Forgive me for not knowing this. How extended was it for you, Joe, compared to what it is now?
I don't remember what the difference is in time, but all I know is it was long.
It was long.
Yeah. It's just that typically you get in there, everybody goes to the bathroom. And everybody gets ready, and then everybody sits down. Defense goes over what the plan is. Offense goes over the plan, and within 5 minutes after that or so, you're ready to go back out on the field. And here you're going, okay, just take your time. We got plenty of time. You have another 10 or 15 minutes on top of that.
Yeah.
And
how'd you guys deal with that? I mean, did you have a plan for that?
Yeah, I felt like Sean Payton had coached in a Super Bowl prior to that, and even though many of us had not been to a Super Bowl before, I think he gave us a great vision and understanding for what it was going to be like, right? Mm-hmm. That delay before the game starts, right? You're literally standing on your feet for 30 minutes. You don't want to get your emotions too high because the game's not going to start for a while. So we were prepared for that. Halftime, I think he had a whole spread of food for guys and basically said, listen, come in, take your pads off, all right, and just get something to eat. It's going to be a while. So I think he helped prepare us so that we were able to keep our emotions and our energy in check and have it ready at the right time.
Similar for you, Brett?
Yeah. I'm like Joe. I mean, it's been quite a while, and I'm sure there's been some addition of time. I just remember in New Orleans, Holmgren came in and he wanted to scream at us, and ZZ Top kicked up like full tilt right about the time and then he was like, and that's what I remember about halftime.
Oh my goodness!
All right, timeout.
Yeah, now you call timeout. But there you go. You could have had 45 seconds.
Jeez, how about that?
The little fake screen, or no? Oh, just a little
halfback Texas.
Oh, there it is. That Texas route, right? Got to sell the flat first.
That was really a great play by Jimmy, hanging there with 2 free
rushers.
rushers.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Knows he's going to get hit there.
Yeah. Well,
when you don't know
plus you don't know who might be dropping, and
exactly.
Just the composure to see the throw and make it.
I'm sure the average Joe watching that goes, it's an easy play.
Yeah. No, it's
that,
not. Yeah.
A 30-yard, a 40-yard corner route's a heck of a lot easier than that one right there.
Yeah.
Gould's season long is 47, guys. Career 58. Kittle. Oh, what a catch!
I can't believe they didn't call him for push.
He pushed off.
Pushed off big time.
There's a flag
They
out.
called it.
Yeah.
They did call it. They're going to get him for
and,
it.
you know, I love Kittle, but I think he did give him a little. It ain't much. Wow.
Drew, you don't like to see that. If that's a push-off, I won't even go there.
Well, you can go there. I won't say anything.
I mean, listen, if that's a push-off, then clearly what happened in the Vikings-Saints game is a push-off. Kyle Shanahan hates it. The officials
When you
always
watch
tell
the
you about the
replay,
extension.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see why they called it, but I can see if they didn't call it. You know, when you see the replay, it's like it wasn't too bad. The guy
is really holding him off. He didn't like.
It was
He
more
held
of,
off
it was more of a
separation.
stiff
held off
arm
the
than a,
close.
than a push arm. You know, he just kind of held
But
it.
you hold off that guy from closing.
And
now this.
Tell you what, it's a huge play in the game. Though,
That
right?
is huge.
It's 3 points.
Yeah.
It's 3
Monster play.
And the
You're
ball,
exactly
thanks.
right.
yeah, again, not to beat a dead horse, but
Yeah.
I know.
It's tough because it's a judgment call, and you would like to sit here and say that let's just be consistent,
Yeah.
right? If you feel the arm extend, then we're going to throw the flag every time.
Right.
Like if you said that and then you did it, then we would
great.
all know.
Right.
And there's nothing we could argue
You're
about.
absolutely
Did he extend
right.
his arm? All right. We know the rule. It's coming
he could do
out.
the same thing, and they don't call it.
That's
Right.
exactly right. So that's
Right.
where guys get frustrated. Is sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. There's humans out there, and they're calling what they see.
Yeah.
Well, the 49ers will carry that possible frustration in at half. They'll get the ball to start the second half here in Super Bowl 54. We're going to take a quick break here, get some snacks, come back about 2 minutes before the second half kick. We'll be right back with you with our Super Bowl
is
watch
halftime?
party with Joe Montana, Brett Favre,
30 minutes.
Drew Brees. I'm Joel Klatt. Join us in the second half for Super Bowl watch party from Fox Sports.